Today's webinar. Today we're going to be looking at the GTX plugin for BricsCAD, which is going to basically help you with scanned images, etc. We're going to have Gordon Lewis, who's a general manager from GTX Europe, taking us through the software. If you have any questions, obviously, please ask them. You can use the chat if you wish, or you can email us after the event and any questions you've got later on. So without further ado, I'm going to pass it over to Gordon and into our presentation.
Thank you, Paul. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for attending this webinar. My name's Gordon Lewis. As Paul said, I'm the General Manager for GTX. And GTX have been developing our products since 1984 in the US. We were predominantly an Autodesk developer, so some of you may have come across us in the past if you've been a part of Autodesk. But over the last sort of 4 or 5 years, we've developed products to run within other CAD applications, especially BricsCAD. So today is just to go through a very brief PowerPoint, just explaining the software, and then I'll go through a demonstration as to what the product can do, just some brief functionality of the software, and if anyone has any questions or wants to know any further information, then obviously please let us know whilst I'm going through. So the product I'm going to show today is, hopefully you can all see the screen, is our RasterCAD Plus product. It's the 2025 version, so that runs within BricsCAD version 25. The main focus of the product is to support customers that have the need to work with old scanned images. So if they've got old paper drawings, plans, schematics, things like that they've had scanned, and they have a requirement to actually edit that scanned image, make some changes to it, or convert it to DWG. So the questions are for customers is, do they have any old scanned images that they want to maintain? Do they at the moment trace or overlay on top of the scanned image? Or do they actually spend a lot of time redrawing the image from scratch? So they have to physically start from scratch to create the image that they want to use. But also as well is that if they are an existing AutoCAD user and they use the Autodesk Raster Design within their design process, GTX Raster CAD and BricsCAD is exactly the same, if not a better replacement for their AutoCAD and Raster Design. So if you've got customers that are using AutoCAD and Raster Design on a daily basis, or as part of their requirements, then the GTX part is a replacement for the Raster Design. So if you have come across it before and you weren't sure what was the supporting product that would give them the exact same functionality, then now you can go, well, we got BricsCAD and we got GTX, which can replace your Raster Design. So to let you know, it's 100% compatible. It works within BricsCAD, so it's a plugin, a third-party application within BricsCAD. So you have all the menus, the ribbons, the toolbars in the same environment. So you're not going from one application to another. You can do it all in the same environment. We support multiple industry sectors. It's really anybody that has a scanned image, anybody that has TIFF files, PDF files, scanned PDFs that they want to be able to open and manipulate. We are very strong in engineering, mechanical engineering, automotive, transport, utilities. So all of those main industry sectors, we have customers that currently use GTX on a regular basis. We're not so strong in sort of GIS and mapping, even though we do have commands to support maps and contours. And obviously architectural, generally new builds, so there wouldn't be the need for schoolboy error. So there wouldn't be any need for an old plan to start with. But if you've got facilities management companies or people that want to make a change to an existing building, then obviously that's where we can come in. These are some of the customers in some industry sectors that currently use GTX and BricsCAD. So we got SNCF, which is the French railway, Ned Train, Bennett Labs, which is a military site in the US, Rolls-Royce in Germany. So we've got quite a few existing well-known customers that have currently transitioned from AutoCAD to BricsCAD and from Raster Design to GTX. So yeah, we have quite a nice range of customers that have currently made that transition. As I said, we do different types of conversion. So what customers generally want to do, they can edit the image, they can clean it up, but they can also convert from raster to vector. So we do different types of conversion. We got CAD conversion. So this is a drawing layout. So you can see that it's gone from the red, which is the raster data, to the CAD data, which is lines, circles, and arcs. We can also do contour conversions. So this is polylines and splines. So it will trace the polyline throughout the drawing and then give you a nice curved vector polyline as a result. And we can also do like an outline conversion. So this is like a shape. It could be a logo, or it can be like sheet metal. So somebody that has a template that they want to cut out on a CNC machine, then you can trace around the shape. So you get the vector polyline. It's like a closed polyline. And then you can send that to a CNC machine and get it cut out. We have people using it for that purpose. And also in textiles where you have like upholstery, so like car seats and things like that, leather. They want to cut out the shape so that then they can actually fit it. So we can do outline conversion as well. We have two products that we do. We have RasterCAD and then RasterCAD Plus. So RasterCAD is the base product which gives you the ability to open up, clean, and edit scanned images. So you can actually make some changes to the drawing without the need to convert it. If you just want to make a text change, erase something, move something, or do something simple to a drawing, then RasterCAD is a good option. If you want to go to the next stage and then convert it from a scanned image into DWG, then the Plus version gives you all the raster to vector conversion tools. We currently support Windows operating systems, so Windows 10, Windows 11, and obviously the new Windows version that will be available, I guess, later on this year when Windows 10 is obsolete. We support BricsCAD Professional and Ultimate. We don't do LT. LT isn't a development platform, so we can't develop an application to run, install, and load within BricsCAD LT. So anyone that has Professional or Ultimate will be able to use GTX. All our licenses currently are perpetual. And we do a single user license, which is locked to a single PC. or we do a network floating license where you can have multiple licenses or license features available, and it's first come, first serve. So you can have a pool of 10 licenses, and the first 10 users will be granted a license. And like I say, we also support the latest server operating systems as well. So we use the FlexEra FlexLM product for that at the moment. But we are looking to implement a few additional features in the next or future releases. So that's a quick overview about obviously GTX and the software itself. What I should do now, if this works, is switch over to BricsCAD. So this is BricsCAD Ultimate. So you have your normal BricsCAD menus, user interface, and then GTX, when it installs, we install as a profile. So it's a separate profile within BricsCAD, and then we have our ribbon. We also have various toolbars as well that we can display. So we have a main toolbar here, which has got a list of all of our commands on it. But we also have other toolbars that you can load and dock and move around the screen, depending on what type of commands you want. And obviously this is customizable as well. So if people want to set up their own user interface, then they can. So the first thing that I'm going to do is open up a scanned image. So if I go to some demo drawings that I have, I'm going to open up a drawing which has got a lot of background noise in it. Hopefully you can see this. If I zoom into the drawing, you'll see that there's a lot of speckles within the drawing, lots of noise. It could have been, the way it was scanned or the type of original to begin with. So the first thing that I want to do is I want to clean up the drawing. So we have various methods to do this. We can do a despeckle, where you individually select a speckle and apply it to the drawing. Or we have a clean IOP, which will display in green what is going to be removed from the drawing. Or we have an automatic one, which will just do it. So if I go for the middle option, what it does, it looks at the drawing, it sees what is small speckles, looks around it to see if there's anything larger associated with it. And then everything that's highlighted in green is going to be removed from the drawing. So it's left some larger speckles there because that could be a decimal point, it could be a speech mark or something like that. But we can actually keep adding that. So if there's a selection that has been that you want to include, then you just keep drawing a box around it and just add into the selection. You can pan around the drawing, have a look to see what it's actually doing. And then if you're happy, just hit return and then it will clean the drawing up. So it's a very quick, simple method to clean up the drawing and get it into a position where you can read it and actually start doing something with it. If I open up another drawing, I'll open up a separate sheet. What I'll do is I'll just go through some brief raster editing commands. Sorry, I'm trying to think what I was going to do. So what I'm going to do now is do some raster editing. So it's manipulating the scanned data, but keeping it as a scanned image. I'm not converting anything. I'm not making any changes to it as far as changing it to DWG and back again. So this is my scanned image. I can't do anything with it. It's just dots. I can't pick on it. I can't grip on it or anything. So first thing I want to do is turn it so it's around the right way. So I turn it through 90 degrees. I want to deskew it because it's not quite square within my drawing frame. So I say deskew all, and then I just pick a line around the drawing border. It could be a center line. So it deskews it, and then I'm going to crop it and take away all the noise around the outside of the drawing. So 3 simple commands. I've cropped it, deskewed it, and I've turned it. Here we have some speckles, so I could use the cleanup command, or I can use the despeckle command. So I say P for pick a nice big speckle, and then it gives me an option to delete or fill. Delete is obviously to remove. Fill would be if you've got a line with lots of holes in it, then you can fill it up. So I hit return, and then I'll just draw a window around the area that I want to despeckle. So you can zoom in, zoom out, and then pan around. Like I say, the red ones are the speckles that are too big. It hasn't selected some of the decimal points, so I know that that speckle size was a good size. Hit return, and now it's cleaned up that particular part of the drawing. I could then say, right, despeckle again, use the same speckle size, and then apply it across the whole drawing. Here, there's like a crease or a mark on the drawing. So if I use despeckle, use the same thickness, delete, and then I'll just draw a window around it. It hasn't picked up the data because it's all joined up. It's all associated together. So we have a command called erase. And if I use a selection method called inside, and then just draw a window exactly the same as before, what it will do is it will see the data that's all on its own in that window, highlight it, and then I can get rid of it. So it's left all the geometry behind because it was going in and out of the box. It was joined up. So it just picked the data that was all on its own. So that's a simple way to clean up the drawing, get it square. Now I'm ready to do some editing on it. So one thing I might want to do is on this one here, I've got a hole at that angle and I might want to bring it up to 90 degrees. So on the original, you'd have to scratch it out or redraw it or try and get rid of this data to then add something new to it. But what I can do in GTX is say, right, I want to rotate. I can then say, right, I'm going to pick this line. So I pick the line through the drawing. That's highlighted green. I then pick the rest of the data that I want to work with. So that's fine. Everything green there. I'm happy with that. Hit return. I say, right, this is my base point here. And I can say R for reference because I'm not exactly sure what that reference angle is, what my new angle is going to be. Do I want to delete the old objects? Yes. So it's then moved that up through 90 degrees. But that's still as a scanned image. I've not converted anything. I've not made any changes to the drawing at all. I can make changes to items in the drawing. So I can actually change a circle. So I can say, okay, I want this circle here for this hole. I can select it. It gives me the radius of 0.34. I could say make it 0.8. So it then actually makes the circle bigger. That's too big because obviously, you know, that's not a reasonable size, but it just gives you an idea that we can actually make the items bigger. We can change the properties in the object. And it's still, like I say, as a scanned image. I'll try and get it back. I'll make it smaller. So we can actually change the actual raster data within the drawing. What we can also do is make copies of items. So this hole here, I might want to place it on a plate equal distance apart. So I could either do it manually by doing a copy of the item and saying, right, I want to make a copy of it and I want to move it that way and roughly place it about there. But it's not quite where I want it to be. It's not exactly where I want it to be. So I'll just erase that if I can. I've moved it so it's touching. So I'll just erase this item that I've just put in here. So what I want to do is do this as an array of an object. So I say an array. I pick the item that I want to make an array of. It says, what do you want to do, rectangular or polar? This is rectangular. It's 2 rows by 2 columns, and I know that the distance is 50 by 50. Should be. No. Let me do that again. Live demonstrations. So pick the hole. I'll select the distance from there. There. I'll do it 2. So it's done it now, equally distance apart, so 2 by 2. So we can make an array of an object as well. There's lots of various other commands that we can do. We can do like mirror, offset. I can move items within the drawing. So if I wanted to say move that hole from there, I can say move it from there to there. So I can move items within it. We can scale the object. So there's lots of various other raster editing that we can do within the drawing itself. So everything that I've done so far is all been as a scanned image. So none of this has been converted. None of it's DWG. So to move on to the next part, I'll open up another drawing. It's just to give you an idea as to the different types of drawings that we can work with. So this is one that you saw earlier, which is in the PowerPoint. So this is a building layout. Same again, it's just scanned data. So I can't grip on it. I can't select any of it. But what I want to do is I want to repair some things before I convert. Like this arc is broken. This line's broken. So what I can do is I can get rid of the speckles by saying erase inside, draw a box around it, get rid of that. I can say change the arc. So I can grip first, middle, end, and I give it a new center point and new end point. So it's repaired the arc. So now that's one arc. So when I convert it, it'll be one solid arc. We can also change lines as well. So I can say, right, take this line here and then stretch it across to here. So it's made it an extra line. So now that'll be one solid line. One thing I didn't do first is I didn't deskew the image. So let me deskew it first. Oh. Yeah. So I'll deskew the image first. And another thing you might want to do on the drawing is, say I wanted to knock these 2 rooms into one. Then I can select various types of information or raster data that I want to work with. So I can say, right, I want to pick that line, want to pick that line. I then want to change it to a cutting window because I want to take that out. And I also want to remove the door. So I can individually select the data that I want to work with. I can then move the room number, move from there to there. And then I can then repair my wall. So I can say, right, change this line from here, bring it across to there. I can then select that line, bring it across to there, that line. So what I've done there is I've obviously changed the room remove the wall, repair the wall. And then what I can also do is make some changes to the text to make reference to the old room number. So I can say, right, I want to change this text. I give it a height, and then I can say, make it 3108-09. So it opens up the text editor, and now it's converted it back to raster text. So now I can save this drawing as a TIFF or PDF, and then that's my new change to my drawing. So very simple way, very easy way for users to manipulate, edit, and change the scan data. So the last thing that I want to go through with you is the conversion side of the software. So what I want to do is I want to create 2 new layers. Call one outline, very nice light color. I'm going to call one text, because what we want to do is convert the geometry into one layer and the text onto another. So I'll select that and make that my current layer. So everything that I'm going to select now is going to be converted onto this outline layer. So I say raster to vector, and then we have a selection method here called fence. And if I just draw a line over here through the drawing, what it's going to do, it's going to follow those lines until it comes to a break. So everything that's green is going to be converted. So it's all been selected, and it's all been quite a good scan, because you can see most of the drawing data has actually been converted, been selected. But I can still keep going. I can still add more and more to the selection. Until I'm happy, I just hit return. And then it's a very simple dialog. We can either do CAD or contour. Contour is polylines and splines. CAD, line circles and arcs. I want to keep my lines orthogonal because I de-skewed the image. I want to keep them horizontal and vertical. We can do to a color, but I've already got a layer set up. We can fix the gap between the lines as well. So if there's a break, we can bridge that gap. And we can save the raster as well. But I don't want to, so I'm just going to say OK. So now everything that you see there is now DWG. So these are all lines, these are all lines. If I turn off the layer, so you can see that is now all CAD elements. So if you had to redraw that from scratch or trace it or overlay, you'd be there for quite a long time doing the conversion of the drawing, whereas this has done it in seconds. So it's a good base to give people the raster data as a DWG, then they can do whatever they like with it in AutoCAD. If I just make a quick copy of this text here, oops, copy, sign. So I'll just make a quick copy of that. And then if I convert it using exactly the same method as just a second ago, you can read it, but it's not proper text. It's all made up of lines, circles, and arcs. So what we can do within the software is we can select the text within the drawing, train it up, and then it will automatically start remembering the characters and putting it down as to how it should be. So I'll change my layer to text. And then what I want to do first is I want to configure how my text is going to be displayed. So I have an input size and an output size. I have 0 degrees, 90 degrees, 180, whatever angle of text you want. I don't want to save the raster. And I'm going to do character recognition. So I'm going to open up a brand new file and call it myself. So this file hasn't seen any characters whatsoever. It's brand new. It's going to train. There's also 2 sets of text heights. So what I'm going to do now is just convert the text that I've selected. It hasn't seen anything, doesn't know what anything is, so I have to say that's a K. It's only seen a K, it thinks it's a K, and it's 61% sure. Well, it's not, it's an O. N, T. It's seen an O, thinks it's an O, and it's 95% sure. So we got that one right. R, O, N, T. So you can see it's actually starting to recognize the characters now. Because when it goes from 0 to 9 or A to Z, it's pretty much covered all of the characters that it would need to know. So 3, 1, 1. You've got to make sure it's a 0 or an O. 6, 2, 5. So now this is proper editable text. It's in the layer as I want it to be. Obviously the text height's probably a bit too big, but I can adjust that in the configuration. So what I want to do now is reduce my threshold to say 85%. So what it's going to do now, it's going to convert the text. Anything over 85%, it's going to go and do what it's already learned. So it's done that fine. So it's already matched those characters up. And then I can just keep going around the drawing, find some more text that I want to convert. It found a 9, thought that was a 0. I just say, no, that's a 9. As you can see where it is within the image. So it's done that for us as well. So now this is all proper editable text. I can change the heights, change the style, change the font, whatever I want. But predominantly what it is, it's now all DWG. So now that can be saved as a DWG file. And then you have your scan data. So to convert a drawing from scratch can take minutes, depending on how the user wants it and how much data they want to get out of the drawing. So I make that pretty much half an hour. Does anybody have any questions? Does anybody have any anything that they'd like to see? Any questions or anything like that?
Exciting, all good there. I would like to say though that that's incredibly powerful software and amazingly easy to use. I'm very, very impressed with that. It's fantastic.
Thank you, Paul. I know it's a live demo, but obviously, yeah, I have tried to make it look as easy as possible. But it is a lot of our commands look very similar to the CAD commands. So you've got move, which is move, copy, which is the same as copy. Rotate, mirror. So for a user to actually start using it, it is very simple to start with. It's just knowing the processes. You select the command, pick the data, and then follow it through. So yeah, it's very simple, very quick and easy for people to pick up.
Yeah, very impressive. That's great. Okay. Well, say if there's any questions after we've finished the presentation, obviously you can drop us an email. We're happy to answer any questions that you have that you think of later. I'd like to thank Gordon. That was a great demo and lots of information and lots to think about there. So I really enjoyed that. And also just to remind everybody that we're doing